Hey guys, some of you know I've been wanting to get a drill press, and for Christmas got some money from mom and dad and was able to purchase one. The only problem was that I have this table that folds up so that I can park my truck in, and I was trying to figure out a way to where I could have my drill press in place on the table, and like Callie said, I could just put it in the corner and move it over here every time I wanted to use it, which seems very practical, very simple, at zero cost. But the thing's pretty heavy. It weighs about 65 pounds, and I know Callie thinks I'm a big, burly, strong guy still, but I didn't want to be doing that, so I was thinking if I could come up with a way to where I could lift it up out of the way, fold my table up, park my truck, and then be able to bring it back down when I wanted to use it, that'd be great. So this is what I came up with. I'll just show you it working at first, and then I'll kind of go into some of the details of how it works. But the basic concept is based on using my air compressor and putting air to some piping that I have, which pushes up some other pipes, and it ends up pushing this up the rails that you see. I just let the air in real slow. Don't want to get carried away. I have it at about 30 psi is what I have it at. And as you see it going up there, the little paddles are moving with those bolts sticking out of the side. It's kind of a safety feature that I put in. And then when it hits the stop at the top, I turn the air off, I unplug it, and then I let the air out real slow. And then it comes and rests on the stops right there. These two blocks which are resting on some grade 8 bolts that I got bolted through the studs. And that's how it'll sit, and then I can fold my table up and park the truck in. So I'm going to go ahead and let it down, and then I'll show you a little bit more of the intricacies of how it works if you're interested. So you just apply the air to it again to get it raised up to the top. Move the paddles back. Just take the air off and then slowly release the air. On the table and ready to work. So I'll bring the camera around and show you some of the parts a little closer up and get a little better idea of what I had in mind and how it ended up working. So you can see the main component which drives it are those two PVC pipes that you see there. Up there at the top, I got them tied in a smaller 3/4 inch tubes, and then I have some rubber faucet washers on the inside that swell out, and they fill the inner diameter of the 1.25 inch PVC pipes that you got there. And then it's all plumbed down here. You see at the bottom they rest on that 2x4. I have plumbed up over in here, and then to my valve, which I just hook up with a regular air hose valve, and just turn that knob real slow, and away she goes. As you can see, like I was telling you earlier, these paddles, that was actually kind of an afterthought. It ended up being a real big pain because I thought of it later and things didn't fit quite right. But when me and Neil were testing this earlier, I had all the PVC pipe in dry and I put air to it, which I shouldn't have done. but the bottom of the table there caught those caps, which you see I've kind of grinded down so it'll go by it, but it caught one of the caps and it pulled the pipe out and it depressurized. It was about 2.5 feet off the table, came crashing down and broke my table. So I put in these bolts as safety and also to help keep things from breaking. Let's see here. Then down here on the bench, some people are wondering, oh, you can't work on it very well with the side straps. So luckily this drill came with some slots, so I put some wing nuts in, slide it right out, and put whatever you want on it. And as far as the paddles, if you saw how they were working, I used some fishing line, which you can kind of see there, and then tied it up through some loops and then back down over here to the side, and see that little metal thing right there. You can pull down on that and the flaps will come up out of the way and allows me to lower it down. And then I guess one other detail is the rails. Just kind of use the weight of the drill itself because it wants to make it fall forward, so it keeps the rollers. I got some garage door rollers and they nest up into the front rails there. The top ones do, is it wants to flip it forward, and then some rollers in the back that go up against the back rail in there. You can kind of see it push up against the actual wall of the garage. Anyway, that's how it worked. If you guys are interested, so I'd let you know how it turned out. I'd like to thank Mom and Dad again for the money, and Wendy and Kevin for Home Depot cards that I used. I'd like to thank Callie for always putting up with these projects, and then also she gave me a great idea. Sometimes you get stuff stuck in your head how you want to build it. I wanted to build it with all metal, and trying to figure out how to do it, and I thought I had to build it out of metal. The thing weighs a lot, and sometimes when people just ask you a question, it can bring together some ideas. She's like, why don't you just build it out of wood? And I was going to rebut with why I wasn't going to do it. It got me to rethinking it. I was like, yeah, build it out of wood. And it actually went together a lot easier, and obviously cost quite a bit less. So thank those guys. Thank Neil. Neil helped me out with this quite a bit. He was here for the big crash. Have to get a hold of him to see that footage. He was actually taping it, which I didn't want him to do till it worked. It ended up being kind of funny. Luckily that nobody got hurt. But anyway, I've been boring you guys long enough. So I'll see you all later. Thanks. Bye.